All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks all for being here in person and on Zoom. Okay, so let's begin. We can tuck our thumbs into our fingers and let our hands rest on our thighs. And we'll bring our awareness to the alignment of our body. And the sensation of our breath as it moves into and through our body. Allowing the body and the breath to be the focus of the mind. And as you're ready, we can bring our hands together and we can rub our palms together, generate some warmth, maintaining an awareness of our alignment, maintaining an awareness of our breathing. And then let's take a nice deep breath in together. And exhale, shake out the hands. And then again, freshening up the chi in our hands. And if you'd like, you can massage one hand with the other as you're rubbing the hands together. Maybe taking a moment to notice what each hand feels like, what the joints in your hands feel like, what the bones and the muscles in your hands feel like. And then again, another deep breath in and out. And freshen up. And we can bring our hands to our faces. Let's massage up and out. And a big breath in and out. Taking a breath with your whole body, through your whole body. And then you can take your fingertips and rub them over the scalp in whichever way feels good. And when you're ready, your hands can slide down the back of the neck and around the base of the neck. And a big breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together. So often we cup our hands over our eyes. We'll do it a little differently this morning. This is what one of my teachers likes to call putting on your Qi glasses. So you can take your thumbs and they can just rest on the outside corner of your eye, and then with the knuckle of your index finger, you can massage the upper aspect of your eye socket and then the lower aspect of your eye socket. So you're basically just drawing with your index knuckle the orbit of your eye sockets. And you can go like up above the eye socket where your eyebrow is, and like the analogous place on the lower eye socket. You can also, maybe going slowly and mindfully, you can work a little underneath the eye socket, which may be a little more tender, a little more stimulating. So you can try both of those and see what things feel like. If you like one a little more than the other, and maybe doing the one that you like, or maybe even doing the one that you don't like, just because it feels a little tender or uncomfortable. So putting on your Qi glasses. And then when that feels complete, a nice breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together. And then let's take the edge of our thumbs on either side of our nose and massage. From the base of the nostrils up to the inner corner of the eyes and everywhere in between. Breathing through your nose, breathing high into your sinuses, breathe up into the bridge of your nose. And again, a deep breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together, breathing with the whole body. Aligning the body. And then tips of the thumbs on either side of the mouth, one hand below, one hand above, and massaging back and forth, massaging the lips, the gums, the teeth, generating saliva. Big breath in and out. Rub the palms together. And now we can make forward circles over our ears with our palms. And you can also bring your palms past your ears and then fold your ears over as you drag your hands forward. So past the ears and then fold them over. And then if you'd like to make Spock fingers and go in front and behind the ear, massaging that way. And then again, go past the ear and then fold your ears forward. And then take a big breath in and shake it out. Rubbing the palms together. Breathing deeply, allowing the breath to saturate your whole body. See if you can feel into that, just feeling the breath fill every cell. And then let's do a little neck massage, so we can take the window side hand to the window side of the neck and just massage our own neck. Give ourselves a little neck massage. And then we can switch sides. Ooh, just got a nice little pop there. And feel free to move your head around as you're massaging your neck. That will help you to kind of find the spots that need it. And even the movement of your head, it's like you can hold a spot with your fingers and maybe move your head around, and that's what does the massaging. And then, just one more method, we'll take the window side hand, reach over to the mirror side of the neck, so you're kind of nestling in with your hand. You can even look towards the mirror side, and then just gently turn your head as you drag your hand across the back of your neck. And when you're about to lose your grip, just reposition, reset, and then do it again. And while you're turning your head, from, left to right, you can also, move your head up and down as it's turning again. Just use the movement of the head and the neck to let that do the massaging, or facilitate the massaging at least. When's the last time you took a self-neck massage break? I know for me, no matter how long it's always been too long. And whenever you feel ready, you can change and switch to the other side. Ooh. Or just keep hanging out on that side if it feels so good. So looking towards the windows and then just turning your head slowly as the hand drags across the back of the neck. And just notice how this feels. If it feels good, just notice that this is something you can do to help yourself feel good whenever you need. If it doesn't feel good, please feel free to find a different way of doing it. Adjust the pressure that you're using, where your hand is working. Or, ask me, how can this feel better if it doesn't feel good? Because often it feels pretty good. Yeah. And then, just to bring this to completion, we can bring both hands around the base of the neck and just kind of even out both sides, smooth it out. And then a nice deep breath in and shake it out. Rub the palms together and breathe. And then a self-shoulder massage, beginning with the left arm, letting gravity do most of the work. It's like we don't have to think too much about what we're doing as we're doing this, but I would invite you to just put some intention or attention on your hand as it swings up and as it lands. So it's not so much like we're thinking about what we're doing or how we're doing it, but more just being with the experience of this as it's happening. one more on each side. And a big breath in. And out. Rubbing the palms together. And then our alternative chest opener. So I like to support one elbow with one hand and kind of make a soft fist and just pat along where we were just letting our hand land. So working in that area and then working my way down over the collarbone. So gently patting directly on the collarbone, maybe making a beak and going above the collarbone, which can be tender, like in that kind of triangular space above the collarbone, and then you can also work underneath the collarbone, like right close to the sternum, and then all the way out to the shoulder joint, and then working down along the edge of the sternum where the ribs come in and connect, and in between those rib spaces, or in those rib spaces in between the ribs, which can definitely feel spicy. Lots of sensation can accumulate or can show up when you bring stimulation into this area. Ooh, especially as you get down lower near the bottom of the sternum, in the area of the heart. Yeah. So feel free to tap as gently as you need to so that you don't have to not tap. I think it's better that you tap lightly and feel what's there rather than just avoid feeling what's there. And that's something that can be applied to all aspects of our lives, of course. And then when you're ready, let's switch sides. So again, I like to support my elbow when I'm tapping up a little higher, just because it makes it easier, makes it more accessible. And then maybe using the beak fingers to tap in that triangular space above the collarbone. Oh, yeah, I partially dislocated this shoulder many years ago, so this is tender. But it's like a good hurt, you know? The hedonic kind of hurt, where it's like, I almost want a little more of that pain. But it's a fine line. And along the collarbone and underneath the collarbone. And then along the edge of the sternum. And again, take your time and be gentle. Be open to what's here. There's a great book that I'm reading currently called The 5 Invitations. One of the invitations is welcome everything. Push away nothing. So yeah, like there may be some tenderness, there may be some emotion that arises. Maybe it's, you know, like a hedonic kind of emotion, maybe not. But welcome everything, being open to everything. Like the nature of awareness itself is considered or said to be open. Just being with whatever is. What happens when we can do that? What happens when we don't turn away from what's difficult or unpleasant or hard? We can remain open and curious rather than judgmental and definitive. And then let's do our gorilla pat, so both hands over the chest, like Tarzan. Breathing deeply, maybe some audible exhales. Maybe even just, yell like Tarzan if you need to. It doesn't have to be happy. It can be whatever it is. And working our way down onto the lower ribs, and you can continue to pat with soft fists. If that doesn't work, you can maybe pat with open palms. And if that doesn't work, you can also just transition to rubbing or massaging. Do different things. See what different things feel like. Yeah, at different times you might want different sensations. You might want a little more intensity or a little more gentleness. Find out. And then if you haven't yet, you can transition onto patting, and then or rubbing, and we're gonna start massaging onto the abdomen, maybe bringing one hand over the center of the chest, or even the bottom of the sternum over the solar plexus, and the other hand is beneath that. And then you can switch hands whenever you'd like. And maybe your hands are working together or independently. Either way is fine. And when you're ready, your hands can then move around your waist to the area of your lower back and your kidneys and your lower ribs and your upper hips. And a big breath in. Rubbing the palms together and breathing. And then the arms. So we'll tap the left fingertips and then up the outside and down the inside. Going however slow or fast you would like. Feeling what this feels like. What does it feel like? The arm that's being touched. And even what does it feel like? The hand that's doing the touching. And up one more time and down. Changing sides. Up the outside, down the inside. Going with the flow of the meridians. So we're helping to facilitate movement inside of us. Movement of fluids, of awareness. Also helping to facilitate the movement in and out. And then one more time up and down. Big breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together. And then you can bring your feet out in front of you. And you can use your hands to massage your feet. And if you're sitting in a chair, you can bring one foot up across the knee and just make sure to give each foot its due. Or if you'd rather massage your knee joints, you can do that. But just like, when we massage our faces and our scalps and our hands, it's like, take some time to explore the whole area of the bottom of your foot, the top of your foot, the edge of your foot that's facing up towards you. Just touch things. Touch your feet. Squeeze them, pinch them, press them, stroke them. See what they feel like. What feels good? What areas feel tender? Is there any stiffness, numbness, pain? Like, tune in to what is there. Feel it. See what happens when you just do that. Just to do it. And then, whenever you're ready, you can follow the funnel on the bottom of your foot down into the deepest hollow. Or if you're massaging your knees, you can find the deepest hollow on the back side of the knee. And just apply some gentle pressure there. And then from here, we can bring our hands up the inside of our legs and around our hips and down the outside. Again, going with the flow. Maybe using heavy pressure, maybe using very light pressure. Maybe going fast, maybe going slow. Maybe doing a little bit of all of it. And then one more time, we can come up and around and down and out. And then a big breath in. Shake it out. Rub the hands together one more time for now. And you can tuck your thumbs back into your fingers. Your hands can rest back onto your thighs. And just bring your awareness to your body and the physical sensations of your body, the sensation of your body aligned between the earth and the boundless sky. And breathe. Breathe in both the earth and the boundless sky. And allow those energies to move through you as you inhale and exhale. Allow the breath to remind you that you are a part of all of this. Call it nature. You are supported by the earth. You are held, contained, embraced by the boundless sky. Breath is provided for you. And knowing all of that may help to allow a sense of trust to arise. Trusting that there is an innate wisdom surrounding us and inside of us. And if we can just relax, soften our grip, loosen our grip, things will happen as they're supposed to. We will continue breathing even if we're not thinking about it. And then whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. All right. Any questions about anything? Okay. So, yesterday and today, and a bit of tomorrow, this is all the beginning of the 6th phase of summer, the 6th and final phase of summer. So according to Chinese cosmology, the early August, really kind of the end of that first week of August, marks the beginning of autumn. So that's happening. But this last phase of summer is called major heat, which makes sense, right? We're just kind of coming out of minor heat. And we have this heat dome that I guess is going to be covering a big portion of this country. So, yeah, major heat is happening. And, you know, we kind of talked about with minor heat how this idea of like just, even though we've reached the solstice, we're kind of past the solstice, and so the days are beginning to get shorter. They're still, you know, longer than the nights. There's still more yang than yin. And it's kind of like, you know, like as things come to an end, usually they get a little bit extreme before they really start to tilt. You know, it's kind of like right before a candle goes out, it gets really bright and then goes out, or a well kind of, you know, runs really strongly before it goes out, or I mean a spring, or and it's not uncommon when people are at the end of their lives, you know, they have what's called the surge, or sometimes referred to as false vitality, where it's kind of like, ooh, I think I'm going to live for another 10 years, and then boop, you know, and so it's kind of that happening, you know, so this idea of major heat, of summer, and, you know, all of this energy that is out there. And, you know, major heat, we can think of the sun, and then there's that great poem by Hafiz, you know, it's very short, that says, even after all this time, the sun never says, you owe me. And think of what a love like that does, it lights up the whole sky. And so, you know, that's a beautiful sentiment, you know, and just thinking about, yeah, like we are still having this beautiful summer, you know, and lots of abundance, and the sun providing all this light and warmth, and leaves on the trees, and the earth producing food for us to eat. All of these things, just kind of getting in touch with that, you know, and remembering this, even remembering this feeling of like, oh, it's like so hot, wow. So that as we move more into the yin times and it gets colder and darker and we're like, oh, it's so cold. Oh, it's like, oh, but remember when it was so hot, almost so hot, we didn't even like it? You know, like, yeah, there's that. So, you know, we can feel what it is now, you know, and get in touch with that. And even, you know, to harmonize with nature, and even this idea of the sun that just gives without expecting any kind of acknowledgement, you know, or wanting anything in return. You know, there's this idea, like, there's a phrase that's out there called compassion fatigue, and I think it's kind of a misnomer, because really compassion is like an unlimited resource, you know, it's just an unlimited fountain. Empathy is a finite resource, and I think what more often is called compassion fatigue is more like empathy fatigue, where we're identifying with what's going on and empathizing, and yeah, that can get a little exhausting at times. Maybe because, maybe because we want some kind of outcome different than what's actually there, whereas if we can just be with whatever is and just be open and receptive, or be like the sun and just present with awareness without any expectation, without anything, just being able to be and do nothing, then maybe we might not get fatigued, and we might actually tap into a source of something within ourselves that is inexhaustible. So again, this idea of major heat and this time of year is an invitation to look into, like, what are those aspects of ourselves that when we feel them, they just seem unlimited, Like it's said that love is another one of those unlimited resources. It's kind of like when you do things that you love, you just want to keep on doing them. It's like you have this endless reserve of energy, this supply of energy to do the things that you love. And so just getting in touch with what are those? What are the things that we love? Or what are the things that feel unlimited? What are those parts of ourselves that are just inexhaustible? And access them. That's this time of year, major heat. All right, so enough about that. Now we'll do some standing and moving. So what we're going to do, we had done the 6 sounds therapy for the past 3 weeks, I think, or maybe even 4 weeks, not sure. So we're going to do something different. I'm not going to be here next week, so we're not going to start something new. So we're going to just do some good movements, and I think they'll be familiar to a lot of you. We're going to do the Qigong warm-ups and do that for a little while, and then we'll also start to move through some of the 8 treasures, the 8 pieces of brocade. And I mentioned before, there are so many different versions of the 8 pieces of brocade, and I think the way that I do it now is probably a combination of a couple different versions that I had learned, and so it may be different. But, there's also this saying that says repetition is what allows magic to arise. And so, we do this self-massage a lot of the time. And we'll do these movements that tend to repeat themselves over and over again. And the idea is that it allows the magic to arise. Then we don't have to think about what is it that we're doing, what comes next. We can just be in the movement so deeply, and then we can see what happens, what magic shows up. Perhaps it will be an inexhaustible resource that you can feel within yourself. So, let's get into that. Okay, so let's start by just bouncing a little bit, because we were just sitting, so we can kind of bounce, shake ourselves up, loosen up. If you want to turn from side to side and do like ringing in the temple bell movements, you can do that. If you need to kick your legs out, you can do that. If you want to bounce up and down off the ground, you can do that. If you need to make big circles with your arms and shoulders, do that. This is spontaneous, free form, formless Qigong. And yeah, I would encourage you, breathe deep, big deep breath in, audible exhales, loosening up. And in your own way, whenever you're ready, you can begin to bring that to a close. Maybe rolling the shoulders a couple times, just inhaling forward up, and then exhaling down and back. 2 more. And I'll mirror you, so let's gather everything together towards the center, hands into Diamond Mudra, and just taking a moment to acknowledge that we are beginning. And then you can relax your arms and step out to the left, maybe a little wider than shoulder width. The hands can come back to back and then inhale up. And exhale out and open all the way around until the palms come back to back again. And let's do this a couple more times. Move with your breath. In and out. Palms back to back and in and out. A couple more, just harmonizing the breath and the movement. Letting the breath be long. As the hands come down, your knees can bend if you'd like, but they don't have to. One more time. So this time, your hands can float up in front of the area of the lower dantian. Middle fingers and ring fingers pointed, either at the solar plexus area or the belly button area, or just a little lower than we sometimes are. And taking a moment to check in here, so thinking about lifting the toes off the ground, spreading the floor apart, letting the knees move away from each other, just like the elbows are gently moving away from each other, lifting through the back and the top of the head, so you have a nice long neck, breathing into the space in between the shoulder blades behind the heart, which can help those elbows to move further away. And so there's this kind of rooting down, spreading through the feet, lifting up and back through the back and the top of the head, breathing wide through the elbows and the sides of the body and the back of the rib cage. And as you find all of that engagement, see if you can also relax and settle. Find like a balance of engagement and just kind of rest in this position. Is there anywhere you can afford to relax? Can you relax your shoulders? Can you relax your jaw or your tongue or the muscles around your eyeballs? And on your next inhale, inhale up to your heart. And then exhale, push your palms out in front. Stretch here, fingertips towards each other, and then inhale, open. Exhale, hinge the hips back, and then the hands can flow down to about the knee level. The knees can bend. The arms sweep out in front, the hips drop, weight is in the heels, and then press through your heels, come up. Inhaling, and then exhale. Let the hands continue to press down as you inhale. And then exhale, rebound right back to where we were, into this kind of engaged, relaxed Wu-Ji posture. And again, there's lots of points to engage. Spread the feet apart, knees moving in opposite directions, elbows spreading, lifting through the back and the top of the head. But again, find that engagement and then see if you can then just soften into that and relax and breathe. And then again, inhale, hands up to heart level. Exhale, pressing the palms away. We're not leaning forward, but we're pushing. And then inhale, open wide and stretch. And then exhale, the hips are back, weight is in the heels, the hands can flow down to about knee level, hips sink as the arms reach out in front so we're not folding. And then pressing through the heels, we come up as we inhale, and then exhale. Press down through the heels of the hands and the feet as you inhale. And then exhale. Back into Wu-Ji posture. Take a couple breaths. Rest. Notice where the weight is in your feet. And then again, inhale to the heart. Exhale, press forward. Fingers towards each other. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, hips back and the hands sweep down. The knees can bend as the hands reach forward. Weight in the heels. Inhale, up. Exhale. Inhale, press down through the heels of the hands. Reach up through the back and the top of the head, and then exhale. Inhale at the heart. Exhale, press. Inhale, open. Exhale, hips back. Hips can drop as the hands come forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. One more time, we'll inhale and press. Exhale, heart level, take a breath. Exhale, press. In, out. In, out. In, out. I said one more, but this is one more. In, out. In, out. Hips sink. In, out. Inhale, press down. And then exhale, the hands float up in front. And then we're going to inhale as we press. Stretch through your fingers, the heels of your hands, reach to the back and the top of your head, shoulders down away from the ears, and then exhale. Inhale like you're pushing yourself up over a wall. And then exhale. Make beaks with your hands, stretch your wrists. Inhale. Nice and tall, hold, and then exhale. Like you're pushing up with the back of your arms. Inhale. Stretch. pressing down through the heels of your hands. Press down through the heels of your feet. Reach up and back through the top of your head. Feel the strong stretch and then relax. We're pumping the whole body. Really stretch through your fingers. Two more. Last one. The hands can float back down to the level of the waist. We'll bring our hands on either side of our hips. So from here, this is a hip-led movement. The hips move back. The knees are going to be either above or behind the ankles and the feet. We're not folding, we're not rounding the spine at all, keeping the spine nice and long, but we're hinging. So, as we inhale, inhale and push your hips back and let your arms come forward to counterbalance. You don't have to come too far forward. Reach through your fingertips. You should be able to lift your toes. Reach through the back of your head so your neck is long and stretch. And then bring yourself back up. And so we can inhale as the hips reach back and the arms reach forward. And then exhale like you're pulling yourself back up. So you can play like push something away as you inhale, grab two ropes, and then exhale, pull it back. Inhale, press. Push back with your hips, forward with your hands, and then pull them together. So it's like you're pushing a drawer closed with your butt. Pushing something heavy away with your hands, and then pulling it. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Inhale, and as you come out, let's hold here so you can breathe naturally as you need to, but just take some time to feel this. And so again, weight is more in the heels of the feet. You can lift your toes. You can also think about still spreading the floor apart, or you're into the outside edges of the feet. Pressing through the hands. The elbows can be unlocked, but the fingers and the wrists are engaged. We're lifting through the back of the head so the neck is long. We're strong. This is challenging. Let's take a big breath in, and then grab the ropes and exhale with control. Two more. Last one. Inhale your hands out to the side. Exhale. Palms back to back. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Arms about shoulder level, palms facing each other. And if you need to, your elbows can be really bent. Your arms can even come down if that's what works for your neck and shoulders. Or you can have them wherever is comfortable. And again, palms facing each other. And if your shoulders are up here, see if you can let them relax. Let your elbows be heavy even. And again, think about the back and the top of the head, reaching back and up so the chin slightly tucks. Neck is nice and long. Breathe high into the bridge of your nose so you feel your big neck muscles engage. Breathe into the sides of the ribs, in between the armpit and the hip bone. The arms aren't back this way, the hips aren't back that way, we're just nice and aligned. Natural curves in the spine. On your next inhale, press the backs of the palms away from you. So inhale, stretch. And then exhale like you're compressing a ball in between your hands, and let it be out in front. So inhale. So we're not coming in like this. We can exhale. It's not close to us. It's inhale. And it's more like if we're doing like a fly exercise, whatever that's called. Inhale. So lead with your elbows, your upper arms. Feel your chest and shoulder muscles. Inhale. Exhale. Feel strong. And the nice thing about this is that you can use as little effort as you want to. Like it can be effortless, and it still helps you get strong. One more time. Let the hands come together about the level of the face, like you're holding a ball, like a soccer or a basketball size in between the hands. Maybe roll your shoulders out, wiggle as needed. Take a breath here. And then we'll exhale and point this ball back towards the lower dantian. And so here's where we can rest. It's interesting, sometimes when I start and I get into this position, it's like, this position is work. But then after doing all of that and coming back here, it's like, oh, thank God. So just rest. This is, Wuji posture, horse stance. This is a standing meditation. So feel the posture. Feel all the different things that you can feel here. Along with the breath, we're noticing the feet on the ground, where the weight is in the feet. We're feeling the unlocked knees and the knees gently spreading away from each other. We're feeling the stability and strength in the legs. Breathing up the spine into the rib cage. 360 degrees of breath in the rib cage. Allowing the collarbones to spread wide and the shoulders and shoulder blades to be relaxed. The elbows gently moving away from each other, not hard. They can still be angled kind of 45 degrees towards the ground, but, they're not against the body. It's like just holding elevator doors open, lifting through the back and the top of the head. Again, inhale to your heart. Exhale, press away. Inhale, open. Exhale, hips back, the arms can sweep down, knees can bend as the arms come forward. Press through your heels to inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, press down. Stretch. And then exhale, the arms float up. Two more, in and out. Last one, in and out. The hands can then float down to the level of the hips and bring the hands on either side of the waist. Inhale, press back with your hips as your hands press forward. Grab two ropes and then exhale, pull. Two more. Inhale. Stretch, reach through the back of the head. Exhale. arms out to the sides. Exhale. Palms back to back. Inhale up. Exhale, open, arms shoulder level, hands towards each other. Inhale and reach. Exhale. 2 more. In and out. In and out. Form a ball in front of your face, and then direct that ball at the lower dantian. And check in with all the things you know to check in with. Feet, knees, elbows, ribs, back and top of the head. On your next inhale, inhale the palms up, forward, or palms down, hands forward. Exhale, the hands come around. And then inhaling here, so the hands are facing towards the back side of the lower dantian. Knees are bent. If your chin is coming up, see if you can bring it down a little bit. You can bend your knees a little deeper. Squeeze the shoulder blades together to get some stretch, and then maybe come out of that extreme stretch. And just breathe in this shape. And on your next inhale, inhale your hands up through your kidneys and bring your fingertips to the sides of your rib cage. Reaching wide through your elbows. You can exhale. Inhale, reach wide. And exhale. This last time we're going to inhale off the heels. And then exhale, push it all out. And then a big breath in as we inhale up. Exhale, the fingers can come to the area of the third eye. Breathing here. And again, notice, like if your shoulders are up, can you relax them? If your head is cocked up, see if you can bring your chin down slightly. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Adjust. Maybe the hands further away feels better. Maybe a little closer. Like find where it works for you, where you can maintain this. The next inhalation, inhale, open the third eye. Exhale the arms down by the sides. And then inhale right back up. And exhale the hands over the top of the head, the crown chakra. So not too far behind us, just kind of straight up. And then from here, the hands can float down over the midline. So over the face and the throat. And then the hands can come to rest back in front of the heart. Press the back of your palms together and then roll the palms together. Turn the fingertips to point down and send the hands down. We can fold one hand over the other, over the lower dantian. again. Inhale. Exhale, palms back to back. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Hands in front of the lower dantian. Breathing a couple breaths. Inhale the hands to the heart. And exhale, press. Fingers towards each other, stretch, and then inhale, open wide. Exhale, the hips back, hands sweep down. As the hands come down, the hips drop. Hands come forward, press through the heels, inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, press. Exhale, stretch. 2 more. One more. Let the hands float down to the level of the hips. Bring the hands on either side of the waist. As you inhale, the hips reach back. Hands reach forward, stretch. Grab on to some ropes and exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale the arms out to the sides. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale open. Big breath in, reach. And exhale. 2 more. Make a ball, take a breath. Exhale, pointed at the lower dantian. Relax. So again, if your shoulders are kind of rounded forward, see if you can bring them back. Settle into your heels, elbows, gently spreading apart, reaching through the back and the top of the head. Inhale the arms out in front. And then exhale around to the back. If you need to inhale and really squeeze, so that then you can exhale and find more space, you can do that. And then inhale up through the kidneys, fingers on the sides of the ribs, and exhale. Get wide and deep and long. Last inhale off the heels. And then exhale. Inhale out and up. Exhale to the third eye. Breathing, relax. Next, inhale, open the third eye. Exhale. Gather up, inhale. Exhale to Bai Hui, the crown chakra. Exhaling as the hands float down the midline. Breathing naturally until your hands come to rest in front of your heart. Press the back of the palms together and then roll them palm to palm. Fingertips down, pressing down over the lower dantian. Repetition causes the magic to rise. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Take your time. See how little effort you can use. Inhale, palms back to back. Exhaling open. Long and slow. Inhale, hands to the lower dantian. Relax. Inhale, hands up to the heart. And exhale, press. Easy. Inhale, stretch open. Exhale, the hips back. Hands sweep down to the level of the knees, and the hips bend and the hands come forward, and then we press through the heels as we inhale up. And exhale. Inhale, pressing down through the hands and the feet, reaching up through the back and the top of the head, and then relax. Two more. In. Stretch. And out. Really use the top and the bottom of the breath. So inhale and hold. Fill your body up. And out. Hands can float down to the level of the hips. Hands on either side of the waist. And as we inhale, hips reach back, hands reach forward. Inhaling, holding, grabbing two ropes, and then exhale, strong. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale the hands out. And exhale down. Palms back to back. A luxurious breath in. Exhaling open. Shoulder level. Inhale and stretch. Exhale. Two more. In. Form a ball, take a breath. Exhale, point the ball to the lower dantian. Breathe it into your lower dantian. Rest. An active, engaged kind of rest. An open awareness. On your next inhale, the hands can float out in front. And then exhale around. Maybe amplify on the inhale. And then exhale, relax. Breathing in this shape for a breath or two. On the next inhale, breathe up through the kidneys, fingers on the sides of the ribs, and out. So breathe the sides of your ribs into your fingertips. Push your fingers away. On the third one, inhale off your heels. And then then exhale. Breathing in. Exhale to the third eye. And breathing here. And again, where can you afford to relax? Where can you be a little freer, a little more spacious, a little lighter, a little less effortful? Next, inhale and open the third eye. Exhale, open all the way. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, fingertips to Bai Hui. Lifting through the back and the top of the head. Like, lift the back and the top of your head up. Almost like you're reaching up towards your fingers, but it's more kind of back through the top of the head rather than towards the fingers. So we get a tuck in the chin, lengthening the back of the neck. Breathe. One more big inhale here. And then exhale, let the fingers float down the midline. Coming to rest in front of the center of the heart, the acupuncture point, Dan Zhong, the center of the altar. So breathe underneath where your fingers are, and not just in the front of the chest. Breathe all the way through to the back of the chest, behind the heart. Reach through the back and the top of the head, lengthening the back of the neck all the way down to your sacrum, maybe all the way down to your heels. Lift your toes, find the hard parts of the bottom of your feet. Spread the floor apart so that you're more on the outer edges and the heels of your feet. Breathe into every cell. Press the back of the hands together and then roll them together into the universal symbol of gratitude. Turn the fingertips down. Send the hands down over the lower dantian, folding one hand over the other, over the lower dantian. Bring the hands around the waist and then down. And then we'll inhale the arms out. Exhale, turn the palms up. Inhale, the hands up, palms together. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, back up. Exhale, arms come around, step the feet together, come into Diamond Mudra. And then you can let your hands relax by your sides. You can just come into an easy, relaxed stance, however wide or narrow you'd like to be, and just take a moment to just drift. Maybe noticing the weight and where it's distributed in the bottom of your feet, and feeling your alignment between heaven and earth, but mostly just drifting, just being with the experience of right now. And then when you're ready, we can gently rub our palms together. Massage our faces a couple times, up and out. A couple times over the top of the scalp. Down the back of the neck and around. Palms together, pressing the thumbs into the sternum as we come down. And then over the lower ribs and onto the belly. And around the waist to the lower back. Draw the hands out. Shake them out. And let's pat up one arm. And down. Up the other arm. And down. And then around and down the backside. Up the front. And around and down. And back up. Maybe a little shake. And then 3 sighs of relief. Big breath in. And again, just a few moments to drift and to exchange qi. So breathing in the universe into yourself. Breathing out a little bit of yourself into the universe. Feeling that exchange. Maybe as the exchange is happening, you might become aware of places where it's a little blocked or restricted. So just inviting movement, exchange into that area. And then whenever you're ready, you can kind of come out of it, returning. Okay. So we didn't make it into the 8 treasures. We just stayed with the Qigong. That was the magic that arose. Yeah. So, that's a very nice little sequence just by itself. It's actually done as an introduction to Qigong forms. There's a couple of those, which we'll probably get to at some point again. We haven't done them in a while, but just that, I've sometimes felt like if I could only do one thing, that would be enough, because there's a lot. You can see, you can make it very physical, almost like a lot of isometric kind of dynamic tension exercises, and you get a nice stretch with it, but there's also this aspect of meditation and relaxation. There's kind of mind focus as we're moving through the different dantian in the body or different areas of the body. And so it really covers a lot of things. It's a very useful practice. So, I would encourage you to play with this one, to, play with it. Yeah. I mean, when my teacher first taught it, it's like we would do this movement for many, many times, before we would then transition to the hip movement. And, we were pushing out forwards. And then by the 3rd time, I think my hands were just starting to do this type of thing. So that's okay. You can allow it to evolve through your body as well. But again, it's a useful practice for strengthening, stretching, relaxation, moving meditation, and it can be done pretty briefly, and you can also stretch it out into like 45 minutes or so. So yeah. So if you'd like a recording of this class to have this practice, let me know. And yeah, and I hope that you feel the benefits. So I will be out of town next week. We won't have class, and then I'll be back in 2 weeks. And so that will be the 6th of August, right around the start of autumn. So there's that. So we will get into that. So thank you so much for being here and for practicing with me. And I hope you have a great 2 weeks. Yeah, thank you. All right. And thanks all. Thank you for being here and for practicing with me. Have a wonderful couple weeks, and good to see you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.